Today I wanted to talk a little bit about just some basics about color theory. It's a little complicated and it can be confusing when we talk about the different color systems, but it's pretty simple when we get to artistic color that talks about, we're really using pigment in art. But there are two types of color systems. One is called additive and the other is called subtractive. So with additive color, that's usually the RGB system. And that's the system we see on computer screens, on television screens, theater projectors. Sometimes if you go to the theater, you can see the three beams of light, the red, the blue, and the green kind of shining, and those all combine together in different combinations to create all colors. Now it's called additive, and the confusion is because when you add all the colors together, all of these colors, you're using light rays and adding them together with the light rays produces, when you mix the two, the red and the green, you get yellow. Blue and red produces magenta, and green and blue produces this cyan color. And all of these colors together, using light rays or light beams of white light, and all the color spectrum creates white. Those are generated. These colors are generated using light. This Cmyk system is part of the subtractive color system. And this is used in printers. You see it in old magazines, like in art, like Roy Lichtenstein, where it's like a very close-up of a dot matrix printing. If you take a magnifying glass and look at a magazine, you can see the dots, all these little dots of color. And these are a mixture. The colors are mixtures of cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And this is a dark-based system. So when you add these colors together, even though it's called a subtractive system, this is why it's confusing, adding these colors together creates darker colors. So when you add cyan and yellow, you get a green. When you add cyan and magenta, you create blue, the primary. When you add magenta and yellow, you get red. And this color was developed for use in printing material. The system that we use when we create art on a medium like paper is a red, yellow, blue system, which is a lot like RGB, except that we're not using light rays, we're using pigment, color pigment. So there are similarities in both of these systems in that we've got our primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. And of course, we learned in primary school that red and yellow make orange, red and blue make purple, and yellow and blue make green. So if we combine all of these colors together, we don't get black, we don't get white, we get this tertiary brown color. So it's kind of a muddied mix of all the colors combined. So here, if you can see, we've got our primary colors, and this is also a subtractive system, right? This is our red, yellow, blue. Red, yellow, and blue. Those are the absolute primary colors that we use in art. When we paint, when we use colored pencils, and the primary colors in art, you cannot mix any colors, any other colors together to create red or blue or yellow. They're the base colors, pigment colors. From there, we get our secondary colors. And again, that's this system, right? So we mix, when we mix red and blue, we get purple or violet. When we mix red and yellow, we get orange. And when we mix blue and yellow, we get green. From there, we get all the tertiary colors. And this is kind of a basic color wheel, but there are millions of combinations. And then you can mix, you know, various colors around to create every single color you can imagine. So here we have a gradient, right? So, and the colors on the left here, the reds and the blues and the purples, these are usually referred to as cool colors. And moving the reds and the greens to the yellow oranges, those are usually referred to as warmer colors. So when we move around this color wheel, we can see we've got red and yellow creates red-orange or yellow-orange. We've got a gradient here. And the same with blue. Blue and green mixed together create this blue-green color. Yellow and green make a yellow-green color, right? And the same thing with red and purple. I mean, red and blue make purple. And if you mix these two together, you get a blue purple. If you mix these two together, you get a reddish purple. Easy, right, to understand. So we also have something called complementary colors. And these are colors that are opposite one another on this color wheel. So this red purple is going to be best complemented. That means it's going to work well together. When you see colors side by side, this reddish purple and yellow green are really going to complement each other. Purple and yellow, these two colors are very complementary. Bluish purple, and it, again, you can kind of, they all sort of, any area kind of complements. So if you can come around the color wheel and find colors that complement, and that's not saying that you can't put red and purple together. They definitely will work together. So that's just a basic color theory explanation. So now we are going to play with these using actual pigments, and I'm going to use watercolors because they blend very easily, and it's kind of easy to see how these different things work together to create really nice color combinations. So I have a sheet of watercolor paper here, and so I'm going to start with, okay, so we were talking about, you know, blending colors, so I'm going to blend up a little orange, even though I have an orange here. I'm going to take this red and blend it with the yellow. And as you can see, this is more of a reddish orange. So the more yellow I add, the more it's going to be closer to the yellow orange. And I'm gonna lay down the color. Just making some random shapes. Watercolors are so fun to blend. And of course, with abstract, you really don't have to worry a whole lot about, you know, detail. So I feel like there's a lot of, and I can pick up the color with my napkin and just sort of move it around some more, because I want to add some yellow in here. And the more that you blend these colors, the more depth and dimension you give your work. You can move watercolor around, which is fun. And I might go darker later, but right now I'm just going to leave it. You can let this dry. It's another cool thing about watercolor. You can let it dry and then you can come back and wet it again, and it will blend really nicely. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but I've got a warmer red here, and that's a red that's been mixed with more of a yellow. And towards this end, I've got a very cool red, which means that it's closer to the blue. It's been mixed with blue, and so it's going to be a darker red that's got a bluish tint to it. And actually it kind of looks magenta because, you know, red and blue make purple, as we know. So I'm going to kind of dip into this middle range. And as a highlight, that's really dark and bold. I don't want to go too heavy on this. I just want to sort of blend it there. Just playing. Okay, now, so we've got kind of a mix of these, right? Now we're gonna add some of these colors adjacent, and you'll get a good idea of what that looks like. That's really and you can see some of the orange that was left over turning into it's got a little bit of a greenish hue to it. Now I'm going to pull one of this is like a cobalt, very dark. Maybe add it. This one, ooh, that's really dark. That's a very bold contrast there. And then let's try some purple. These are so dark. Oh, there we go. These watercolors are so dark. I'm actually going to extend this purple out. I love watercolor because you can really push the color around, and it's great for shading and, you know, darkening and creating shadow, highlight, all that good stuff. Okay, so let's play with this green and purple color. Now, these are my mom's old watercolor. She's been gone for about almost 11 years now, but I inherited all of her watercolor paint, and it's kind of old, so but that's okay. I'm just going to create a kind of amorphous shape over here. This might, yeah, this is a dark. Yeah, this is a really dark green. So whoa. Add some yellow to brighten it up a little bit. used to working with acrylic brushes. If you're interested in looking at any of my other art, you can, I have my art posted on my website, mandygraphics.com. Okay, so that's the cobalt purple. What is this? I'm gonna add the dark. Ooh, that's blue. So because it's so blue, I can add some red in here. Really like this turquoise color. Actually, this is my favorite color combination, is this orange and aqua teal. And then, of course, when you blend them together, it kind of creates a green. It's very pretty. Okay. Added too much. I'll come over here and make a blue. Let's use this. I don't want it to be a solid color. I just want it to have a little bit of a luminous quality, or just not completely one solid blue shape. Just create some interest with having some white come through. And then if we look at the color wheel, we look at the blue, the orange, reds. Come back to this one. This one's kind of dried out. Let's get this, make this one a darker. There we go. Okay, come over here and maybe do, let's see. Do a red shape. It's a very orangey red. I think I might actually, well, I've got the blue red, the bluish red here, so let's see, I'll do that. Some bluish red, kind of a crimson on this opposite end. And you can see the difference between the two. I'm just going to extend this blue, blue-green, turquoise. How pretty that is together. I'm just playing with color. Bright and pretty, and I'm not too worried about where I'm going with it. I'm just having fun. We can, let's see, go with, we don't have any, oh, a lot of purple, so maybe we'll get the purple next to the orangey red. And this is just to kind of show you, you don't have to spend a lot of time. I'm actually kind of showing myself here too. Don't have to spend a lot of time on detail to create something really pretty, you know, and colorful and pleasing to the eye. Just gonna balance over here with this bright yellow. And there you go, just, you know, quick little abstract. Mixing colors together and putting colors next to each other and seeing how they look together based on our tertiary color wheel. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching.